have a question for you. Since when does somebody else's suffering automatically, instantaneously become your suffering? I have a little bit more to say, so what you're thinking right now, just let me elaborate on this. First of all, I have learned in my journeys and in my life that human beings have very short memories, especially when it comes to things that they done that they shouldn't have done. See, we are very flawed creatures. I like my human existence, don't get me wrong, but I've accepted the fact that we are not perfect. That's why I'm always trying to emphasize a spiritual connection, because we need to be connected to perfect beings, trusting one another and believing in one another as humans. That's a gamble. You might as well be playing the lottery. You might as well be going to the casino every day, because it's the same amount of probability that you're going to win. Now, am I saying that I hate humans? No, I'm not saying that at all. I love my fellow man. And any day that you have on this earth where you're able to get up and breathe or do what I'm doing, talking into a microphone on a cell phone, it's a blessing. And I'm going to respect you for simply being human. But one thing I'm not going to do, no longer going to do, and what some of you have to do, is to take on the burdens of people who never had a true vested interest in you, never thought the best for you, never supported you. Don't take on any of their burdens. See, we have to understand how karma works. People go around talking about karma this, karma that, and you're going to suffer for this and suffer for that. But then when it's time for the rubber to meet the road, all of a sudden we forget about the source of that trouble. I've been down the road where I have created scenarios and I had consequences as a result of it, and I paid for those consequences. But one thing I'm not going to do is take on the burdens of someone that I know for a fact has not had my back, has slandered my name, has thrown negative energy at me, just because their life is no longer as charmed as it used to be, just because all of a sudden they're having trouble now. See, this is where you've got to think about your past, and you got to think about what you went through. I believe in the universal laws of reciprocity. I'm not going to go through any shit for anybody that wasn't willing to go through it for me. And I mean that. We have to stand up for ourselves spiritually, people. And sometimes people use other folks as a spiritual dumping ground in a feeble effort to make themselves feel better than others. There's a sin in that. First of all, we need to learn how to mind our own damn business, and that's the truth. And sometimes, when you have someone who has changed and gone on with their life, and if you are someone who used to lead a life that was very questionable and was very self-destructive, and you're still here and you're on a positive path, God bless and kudos to you, first of all. Don't you feel bad about that. Because deep down, the people who are still speaking bad on your name, even though you're minding your own business, the truth is that they're jealous of the fact that they wouldn't have it in them to survive the shit that you went through. And that's the truth. And I mentioned this before in previous videos, but I just figured that I just need to say it again and kind of let you know. Now, I know in some religious circles, people feel, oh, you should just automatically forgive and automatically pass the peace pipe around and automatically bring flowers, but I beg to differ. See, just because you sit there and you dispense all this unsolicited goodness on people who do bad against you, you think all of a sudden they're going to instantly become good because you're doing good? If it's not in their spirit to trust you, if it's not in their spirit to support you or anything like that, I give my flowers to people I feel who have earned them and who deserve them in this life. And I don't wait until their life is over to all of a sudden speak good to them. Now, if you haven't taken time to be concerned about my day-to-day, you haven't taken time to show any support, and you haven't taken time to even try to help other people to support me, if you're going through some shit, I'm sorry you're going through it, but I'm not taking on your burden. You brought that on yourself. See, the same type of support that that person needed and you refused to give, now it's your turn. Everybody has a turn in this world. I'm not saying this out of revenge. I'm not saying this out of anger. I'm just telling you how the universe works. And don't try to circumvent, because there are some people that all of a sudden they find faith in religion because they know that they're about to face the consequences for their bullshit. They already know that the gavel is getting ready to come down. They already know they're getting ready to be judged. So they figure if all of a sudden they become this holy roller, whoever it is, spiritual guru, AKA fake chosen, whatever it is, they figure, okay, if I do this now, then I won't have to worry about karma. But see, it doesn't work that way. You're going to have to take your medicine at some point. You're going to have to. So let's just see where your faith is then. You can't fight the supernatural. You can't fight spirituality. It's not anything to fight. That's why I emphasize that people develop a spiritual connection. That way you can understand and acknowledge the fact that it's not all about us humans. It's not all about this world. So for those of you who are trying to fight the good fight, whether you've been doing it the whole time or whether you've chosen to do it after a lifetime of turmoil, if you're fighting the good fight right now on this date and intend to continue to fight the good fight, don't waste your time worrying about what anybody else thinks, especially someone who has not supported you. Let spirit deal with that. Just saying.